Life is uncertain. Many things in our daily life deals with probability questions. We often predict the chance that something will happen or not. For example, in school, after a test, you would say, will I pass the test? Or in a championship game, will my team win the championship? Or even we would say, will it rain today? These questions can be answered with words such as maybe, perhaps, likely, or probably. We ask these questions because we are uncertain whether such events will occur or not. We also use our personal experiences and intuition to answer questions about an event's chance of occurring. It is possible to give a more precise numerical measure of chance, and that is known as probability. For this video, we will learn some of the important terms you will encounter while learning probability. Those terms are experiment, outcome, sample space, and event. Our learning targets would be I can define an experiment, outcome, sample space, and event. And number two, I can list all the possible outcomes in a simple chance situation. Probability is the likelihood that an event will happen or occur. The probability of an event is a number from 0 to 1. This probability could also be written in terms of percent, decimals, or even in a fraction form. The probability line here indicates the possible occurrence of an event, and it can be characterized as impossible with a 0 probability, unlikely with a 1 in 6 chance, even chance, likely, and certain with a probability of 1. So if an event will never happen, then its probability is 0. For example, the probability that a pig can fly. That is impossible because pigs cannot fly. If an event is sure to happen, then its probability is 1. For example, sugar is sweet. The probability that sugar is sweet is 100% or 1. The sum of all the probabilities in a sample space is 1. So if we're going to add the probabilities of all the outcomes in a sample space, that will always be equal to 1. Here are the terms to remember in studying probability. First is experiment. Experiment is a chance process that leads to a well-defined result. For example of experiments are rolling a die, spinning a wheel, or tossing a coin. Any possible result of an experiment is called an outcome. So when we toss a coin, the possible outcomes would either be a head or a tail. When rolling a die, the possible outcomes would be the six sides of the die, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. When spinning a wheel, the possible outcomes would be all the colors in that wheel. So in this example here, the outcomes would be red, orange, green, and blue. The set of all the possible outcomes, or sample points, are called the sample space. It is denoted by a capital letter S, while the number of sample space is denoted by n quantity S, or n of S. In an experiment of tossing a coin, the sample space would be all the possible outcomes, and that would be the head and the tail. So the number of sample space would be 2. In an experiment of rolling a die, the sample space would be all the six sides of the die, and that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The number of sample space would be 6. And spinning a wheel, the sample space would be all the outcomes, and that would be red, orange, green, and blue. So the number of sample space would be 4. What do you think is sample space when drawing a card from a standard deck of cards? That's right. That would be 52. 52 because a standard deck of cards is composed of four suits. That the suits are clubs, diamonds, hearts, and spades. Each of the suit has 13 cards, starting from ace, numbers 2 to 10, the jack, the queen, and the king. So in total, the number of sample space would be 52. A subset of the sample space is called an event. For example, the event of getting a tail when tossing a coin, or the event of choosing a queen from a deck of cards, or an event of getting an even number when rolling a die. In summary, probability is the likelihood that an event will happen. And the important terms that you have to remember are experiment, outcomes, sample space, and event. Thank you.